What's going on, folks? Fight Day live chat. You boy looking a little rough, feeling a little rough. For most I know that have been following my Twitter, I guess I didn't really post it on IG, but on Twitter, you guys saw how excited I was to go to a concert last night. There was a nationwide outage with one of our biggest communications providers, Rogers. And for some fucking reason, they canceled the concert. Um, just down the road, there was a country concert going down at a smaller venue, and those guys still got to fucking enjoy themselves. They literally told us half an hour before we got, or sorry, before doors were, or the show was about to start, if I'm not mistaken. I believe people were already lined up. Some people were inside. Apparently, they were doing sound check and all that. And then they announced that the concert had gotten postponed because of service outages. It was the weekend's concert. It was going to be his first concert of it was going to be his first concert of the tour that he's currently on, or yeah, first stop of the tour, and it's obviously his hometown as well of Toronto. So it would have been a great fucking show. I was beyond amped. Even upgraded my goddamn seats a couple days before, but yeah, we spent like a $200, $250 on dinner, getting amped for the concert, and then on our way to the concert, we saw a bunch of people walking away from it. So that's where we ended up finding out. So we just walked around some more, grabbed some more drinks, groveled a little more. Went to there's a big like aquarium right beside the Rogers Center there, so we went to that, and it was like jazz night, so you could like walk around the entire aquarium and just drink and stuff. So we did that for a couple hours. Then we went to Lakeshore area. Ended up wanting to blaze, so we quickly ran to a dispensary, grabbed a couple J's. We ended up blazing, and then as we're walking along Lakeshore towards the other venue where the country uh concert was at, this was around the time the concert finished. And as we're walking, there's just people in like plaid shirts, cowboys hats, and shit, just walking past us. And like half of them were just completely shit faced. And my wife just looked over at me. She goes, "That should have been me tonight." I'm like, ah, fuck. But we got over it. We just ended up drinking our sorrows away. Got really fucked up. Got home at like 2 a.m. Uh, so yeah, it was a crazy night in terms of ups and downs and roller coasters and stuff. Still had a good time, but probably would have been even better had we gone to the concert. But I wanted to let that out right off the bat so that we can get in to the MMA talks. Thank God there is a fight tonight, so I can watch people punch each other in the fucking face and imagine it's myself in there. Because if this was a UFC off weekend, I'd be even more pissed off. But luckily, we got some fights. The only thing that would have been better is if it was like the start time of next week's card. If you guys are aware, next week's card, I believe, starts at 11 a.m. Eastern. That's the prelim start time since it's a ABC card, if I'm not mistaken. So they're going to be starting it earlier over there in Long Island. Folks getting some, folks getting some lunchtime fights next week. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. Let's fucking get into the so let me start off with what my actual bets are here. Yeah, actually good question here from my guy Gabriel Wright saying does Lock of the Night contest start today? Yes, it does. Lock of the Night Challenge Extreme, and Dog of the Night all start today, but I'm continuing to keep the registration open until at least the game locks, which is going to be by the time the first fight starts tonight. So if you are still interested in the Lock of the Night or Dog of the Night challenge, slide in my DMs. I'll get you guys set up. It's going to be a long day for me to, set up the new games and all that type of stuff, but I'll have it ready by the time the fights kick off. I hope, knock on wood. I have a radio slash guest appearance at 5:15 for about a half an hour or so. But outside of that, I'm just going to be preparing for the Lock of the Night and Dog of the Night challenge. Again, just a quick run through. Lock of the Night challenge is pretty much you pick one lock play that you have for every single UFC card. We assume that you put 5 units on it and you try to make the most profit from tonight's event all the way to the last event in December. Most top three with the most profit split the pot 60%, 25%, and 10%. I keep a little bit for my own just because of how big this has become and how much work it is to put together on a weekly basis. So that's the Lock of the Night challenge. Lock of the Night challenge extreme is pretty much the same thing, but you get to do parlays. You don't get to do parlays in the regular Lock of the Night challenge, and that's become even more popular since I made that rule change because people don't like the possibility of one guy just sneaking in at the last minute, last event of the year, fucking lands a plus 10,000 parlay bomb and then wins it all, right? That's what the Lock of the Night challenge extreme is for. So Lock of the Night challenge, single bets, money line, totals, and fight goes to or doesn't go to decision. Those are the only three bets you can make, and the odds can't be worse than minus 300. Lock of the Night challenge extreme is again same thing, except you can parlay anything. One bet, but you can parlay anything. And parlay as much as you want as well. That's why it's called extreme. And then Dog of the Night challenge, that one only goes for 10 events, starting with this weekend's event, where you put 3 units on, you have 3 units. Sorry, 1, 2, or 3 units that you can put on you, so you can choose between those. Pick one underdog fighter or over under for the next 10 UFC events. Come out with the most amount of profit. Same shit, 60, 25, 10, split up of the prize pool. And again, it only lasts 10 events. There's a $25 pool and a $100 pool for all of those games. We're filling up. I think it's like getting to like we got 60 people in the Lock of the Night. We got about 20 people in the Lock of the Night Extreme. That's not as big. Dog of the Night Challenge is getting up there as well. I think we're up to 50 or 60 people there as well. So nice pots. Make sure you guys go check it out. Slide in my DMs if you guys are interested. All right. Let me shut up now. Let me get into what my bets are. Then we'll get into what the live chat is saying here. Let me just replenish my electrolytes real quick. All right, official bets. So I really didn't think I was going to end up having a lot of action tonight, but after running through the card, I was very tempted to pull the trigger on a lot of spots, and very tempted to pull the trigger on a certain spot that I was kind of overlooking over the last couple of days until somebody really brought it to my attention. The Nurmagomedov and Dion Draj under 2.5. I have 4 units on minus 125, which makes it my lock of the night play. I'm quite confident that no matter which side wins, they will likely come out with a finish. I do think it's going to be more so the Nurmagomedov side. Um, yeah, feeling quite confident about it at 4 units again at minus 125. So hopefully he's able to go out there. I'm thinking it's going to be Nurmagomedov quick within the first round or two. I know Dion Draj is quite durable, but I don't think he's faced a guy like Nurmagomedov. And I've heard the Nurmagomedov live betting angle because of how he won his last fight. But we also have to remember that Morozov, you know, did hurt him early, emptied the gas tank, threw everything in the kitchen sink at him in that first round, and then started to slow down in that second round. And that's where Dion Drudge took over. I don't think that Nurmagomedov is going to make the same mistake. I think either he rocks him and finishes him, or rocks him and then gauges whether, like, okay, is he close enough to being finished that I should empty the gas tank or not? And I don't think he'll empty the gas tank if he doesn't need to. So that's the lock of the night. Dog of the night play. I'm going to go Saeed Yokob Kakaramanov, 2 units at plus 115. A lot of guys I respect on the other side here on Ronnie Lawrence, and I get it. The guy's numbers are great. The guy's relentless. The guy comes forward all the time, lands 10, 12 takedowns. But I think that Kakaramanov has good enough takedown defense, not takedown defense specifically, but defensive grappling to deal with Ronnie Lawrence and then be able to dish out more damage on the feet. I think he could win this by finish, or I think he could even win by decision. As we're starting to see, they're putting more emphasis on damage nowadays, which is great. So Ronnie Lawrence, not the biggest, damage inflictor when he does get his grappling going in certain spots. And I think that Kakramanov will really test him here. I noticed that somebody said in the live chat that somebody dropped a bomb on Saeed. He was around plus 115, like I said. Now I'm seeing closer to even money on that fight. So probably the fight that I'm most excited about. I'm very, very excited about this fight. Um, but I feel pretty damn good about Saeed Jokob Kakramanov, which is why he's going to be my dog of the night play. Then I got a couple more just regular bets. I got 1 unit on Armin Petrosian at plus 196. Feel pretty damn good about him. Cashed him last time around. That's not the only reason I'm betting him, but I do think he's a solid prospect here who can deal with what Boralho brings to the table. I think people are a little bit too sucked into the recency bias of the last fight. Like the fact that he's up to minus 230 is crazy. If you got him around minus 140, minus 150, I get it. I think that line is accurate. But to push it all the way up to minus 250 now in certain places, I think that's a little bit whack. I think Petrosian, again, defensive takedown defense, not the greatest, but defensive grappling is amazing. I think he does a good job in terms of never settling, very good submission defense, gets back to his feet, and then from there he should be able to work Kyle on the feet, and I think he could potentially knock him out as well. So I got 1 unit at plus 196. Then I'm going to go to the Calvillo Nunez fight goes to decision, 2 units at minus 175. Yeah, I think this line is kind of skewed because of both of these girls getting finished in their last fights. They're not really finishing anybody. So I'd be surprised if we do end up seeing a finish in this spot. I'm going minus 170 on the fight goes to decision at 2 units. I'm also going to go 1 unit on Michael Johnson at plus 225. Again, a value play here in a sense. I think he's the better striker than Malarkey. I think he's faster than Malarkey. I think he can knock him out pretty quickly. If he doesn't, I could see Malarkey actually having some success and possibly getting Johnson out of there later in this fight, which is why I also took 2 units on the under 2.5 at minus 174. So I'm kind of covered on both sides. Optimal outcome here would be Johnson by KO under 2.5. So that would be like the most optimal outcome. But if Johnson wins, but he wins by decision, I still cash a little bit. If Malarkey wins inside the distance under 2.5, I still end up winning a little bit. So I think the worst possible outcome would be Malarkey by decision, which is a possible outcome. We'll see how that goes. Next up, 2 units on the fight goes to decision for Shevchenko and Casey. That's at minus 180. Again, a little bit chalky there again, but I do think that this is one of those spots where they're just going to outpoint one another. And I think it's going to be Shevchenko doing the outpointing here. The only finish I see possibly coming here is Casey throwing up an armbar from guard. Shevchenko, again, I'm not trusting her at this chalky line because she could get she could get snatched up there. But I do like Casey. Sorry, I do like this fight to go the full 15 minutes regardless. I don't think that the chances of Casey actually grabbing that submission are up there. Next up, I got 2.5 units on Trishan Gore at minus 132. Botched the line movement on this. I should have got in a little bit earlier. We're getting closer to even money on Trishan Gore earlier in the week. Let's see what the line is now. Minus 150 now. So I still got minus 132, which is not too bad of a line. 2.5 units there. I think he's a quicker striker, faster striker, more powerful striker. The takedown defense, still a little bit of questions about it, but I do think he does a good enough job in terms of stifling whatever success his opponent could have from top position. Hopefully, he continues to work back to his feet. He seems like a guy that's going to be hard to hold down, and even a guy harder to get down. The only thing is, I'm hoping that he pulls a trigger. If he stays gun shy, things could get a little bit iffy. But if he can pull the trigger, I think he knocks out Cody Brundage within 2 rounds here. And then lastly, I took a degenerate 0.5 unit shot at plus 572 to fade David Onama. Garrett Armfield, I got plus 572, like I said, half unit shot there. Solid wrestler. If he can employ that here, things could get shaky for Onama. I mean, Onama is great with his striking, he has some good power, but if he's not able to get that power going because he's stuck under his opponent, I think that's a damn good bet at plus 572. So I would definitely not play Onama at minus 800. I think if he looks minus 800, he knocks out Armfield. So you should go for the knockout prop instead, in my opinion, which I believe is much better than minus 650, minus 800 that Onama is sitting at. Another spot that I actually don't mind is the over 1.5. I think that's sitting around minus 120, minus 130. I do think that this gets stretched over that mark because of Armfield's I guess knack for wanting to grapple. He will look to grapple here. I know they fought once in the past before, but he used none of his grappling. And I found out later that he is actually, a wrestler by nature, or by first martial art essentially. So if he can employ that here, I think he looks much better than what he used to look like. Or sorry, what he looked like in their first fight. All right. I'll drop the totals parlay a little bit later here. We're already getting deep into this podcast. So let me quickly see what the live chat is saying here. Okay. Pilar picks saying huge money just came in on Saeed. I'd like to hear that. Jake Green saying, sorry, bro, that blows for sure. A weekend is the killing right now. I know. He's canceled up a bunch. We're supposed to go see him in February as well. Shitty, shitty, shitty. Stockholder, I'm not falling for that. Gopov, not falling for that either. MPT weekend is hip to the skip. Yes. Zach Johnson in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by. James Valdez saying, sorry that happened. Huge day coming for you today. Nothing better to get the mind off shit than a nice card. Again, name value wise, this could be a much better card, but still some fun fights, no matter. MMA Fight Club saying New Yorkers are going to be all screwed up with their 11 a.m. start time next week. Yeah, that'll be. I'm looking forward to it. I love the earlier cards for sure. Jimmy the Drunk saying Circus Sportsbook is the best book I've ever been to. Shout out to Circus Sportsbook. I when I went to Vegas last August, my guy Nick Kalikis, who works for Circa, um, he gave me he gave me a tour of where he's at. We chilled out at the sportsbook as well the day before the fights. Watched Bellator. Excuse me, my nose feels all fucked up. Um, Not because I do coke. I promise you, I don't do coke. I promise. Holy marijuana. Yeah, give it. Watch Bellator at Circa with him. One of the best sports books out there. But yeah, if you're ever in Vegas, go check out Circa. Best place to place your wagers and best place to watch your wagers take place. All right. Bilal's Beak saying, why would Braulio open up as a minus 300? Then people were hesitating to bet him at like minus 170 earlier this week. Sure, until opening line of minus 300, tell you there's almost definitely value at minus 170. I did not see him open up minus 300. I saw him open up at minus 145. I don't know what you mean that he opened up at minus 300. Which book opened him up at minus 300? Bet Online opened him at minus 300. Interesting. But yeah, almost every other book opened him at minus 140. Then again, Bet Online is normally the first guys on the block. Yeah. Again, the thing in terms of value here, and the thing that people get misconstrued, is value essentially is perceived value. We always leave out the word perceived. Everybody has a different definition of, or sorry, different perspective on what is considered value in a certain fight. For me, I think we're getting value on Petrosian at plus 195, plus 200 because of how I see the fight playing out and how I see these guys being matched up. The same could be said for, let's say, David Onama, right? I mean, minus 800. Some people might think he's value at minus 800. It's all perceived value. So to you, sure, value is minus 170 on Bahalio. Just another way of thinking about it. David Dean saying, Locke, what do you make of Carl Roberson move up to 205 and switching gyms to Kraus? A desperate cry for help to save his career. Size mismatch was evident. He's moved up to or he's taken fights at 205 in the past. Also, he's been working on and off with Kraus. So it's not like a complete gym change. He's splits time between there and where I think he's originally from New Jersey. But this isn't really a complete switch. I know Kraus has definitely coached him in the past. He should win this fight. He's technically the better striker, the better fighter overall. Let's just see if he can overcome the physical attributes that has made Kennedy and Zechiku. Scott Tick saying, I want 3 solid bets. Don't screw me. Don't be that guy. Nigel in the chat saying, "What's a man? Pray call me crazy, but I see Johnson and RDA winning today. The disrespect of RDA is nuts. Way better resume. May drown him later. And Malarkey coming back way too soon. Thoughts? Well, I have a bet on Johnson, and I understand the value on RDA. Like if you're seeing perceived value on RDA, absolutely agree with you, which is why I'm not touching that fight. But I still do think that Fiziev is just going to be, the younger, faster, stronger guy in this position. Even though he may not have the resume to back it up at this point, he's at the beginning of building his resume. So again, I don't hate on anybody taking a shot on RDA. I'm keeping that fight out of my personal lottery ticket plays. I think I have Fiziev in one of my Gabby Garcia parlay, but that's about it. MPTV saying good call on the side. Jacob fight. You must have saw that Fritz fight with Ronnie Lawrence. I believe so. I can't recall it off the top of my head. SK saying Gore by KO in case of by decision parlay. Ballsy, but I do like the first part of that. Blosbeak saying they're putting more emphasis on damage unless your name is Arman Sarukian. MPTV saying Gamrot 1345. I thought Gamrot did start running away with it. Lance saying I can't believe RDA is still competing in the highest level of MMA. He's doing a good job of keeping himself there, right? Taking on all these short notice guys, especially when he's scheduled to fight guys that are up there. Islam Makhachev, Rafael Fiziev. So Alex Gagnon saying Kobe the GOAT. He is. MPTV saying Fiziev has had trouble with guys lesser than RDA's talent level. RDA by unanimous decision for sure. We'll see. We shall see. Again, no bet for me there. um, Doe by 90 saying, what do you think about Ronnie Lawrence? Ricky Trisco's probably at 2U4 plus 170. I'm actually picking against both those guys. No bet on the Tercios fights for me, but I'm picking Zahabi to win. And then I actually have a bet on Yokub Kakramanov. Sorry, Saeed Yokub Kakramanov. I hate that his name is so goddamn long. Dirty Riverfish saying, best side to bet in the States so I can parlay props. I feel like Bet Online allows you to parlay props. I could be off on that. DraftKings, FanDuel. It just depends on what state you're in. That's the issue. MPTV saying Shevchenko is the most mixed bag on the card. I agree. Bilal's Beak saying RDA by UD for sure, guys. Or for sure. Some fat nerdy casual. Come on, guy. We're trying to be civil here. Why we gotta go with the insults right away? I get it. This is a testosterone-filled industry, but let's be fucking nice to one another and just try to talk fights out and try to make each other money. Good God. Derek saying Calvillo sub plus 460, definitely worth a sprinkle. I could see that angle, but Calvillo is dead to me ever since that Andre Lee fight. Jimmy the Drunk saying Petrosian round 3. I might have to take a little nibble on that too, but I do think he could be. His cardio is great, man. Even when getting out wrestled and out grappled, his cardio is great. Stockholder saying I'm still drunk with these bets. We shall see. Calvillo by sub is pretty sexy. Rips and picks in the chat. Best of luck. Very excited for Johnson versus Marlecki. That should be a fun fight. Personally, for me, what's the Kakramanov, and what's the other one? Kakramanov and Lawrence. That's the fight that I'm most excited about. And thankfully, it's the first fight of the night. Chris Greaves saying, what's up, man? Just wondering if you're doing a parlay for the patron. Ooh, pay-per-view parlay for the patrons. I was supposed to set up that goddamn survey. I did not get a chance to set up the survey. What I will do during the fights today, I will set up a survey for next week's fights and dish that out to you guys as soon as the fights are done. Let me put that on my to-do list right now. I owe you guys a couple for sure. There we go. I'll set one up for the Long Island card tonight so that you guys can start voting on it. And then we'll do it for like the next 2 or 3 events. Apologies for the delay on that. Gorilla Gamble is in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by. Ryan Grant saying Casey by armbar odds anywhere. Maybe DraftKings, I think they offer that type of stuff. Andrew Marchenko in the chat saying, do you see Robertson Nunes or maybe some other dog to score well on DK? Roberson could potentially, depending on his approach, right? He likes to grapple, even though he's a striker, but he grapples against grapplers. If he grapples against Nzechuku here, he could have massive success. Excuse me. Nunes, I'm not so sure. I think Saeed Jokob Kakramanov could be a solid underdog DK play. Armfield might surprise a couple of people. He might be able to get some numbers here, especially if he pulls off the upset with his takedowns and control time. Other underdogs, Zahabi could land a knockout here, but not super on that. Michael Johnson could get a knockout. I like Petrosian, but yeah, DK numbers are heavily reliant on him getting a finish. So not bad underdogs. Even Dos Anjos, solid underdog there as well. Socrates, Luck. Thanks, Luck, for all your hard work, hustle. Good luck tonight. We are spelling a lot of the same dogs. Good. I'm glad for that. Dirty River Fish saying Luck tonight. I'm going with the under 2.5 in the Nurmagomedov and Douglas Silva Andrade fight. Chris Greaves saying no more DK for us Canadians anymore. I know. It hurts. It hurts so much. Carl, Antonina, and Nina. I don't know. I like Roberson tonight. I like Roberson as well. Ryan Grant saying Bilal open minus 220 against Brady. That's crazy. Paul Powell saying I missed the weigh-in shows when you were bringing those back. I did one yesterday, or not yesterday. Sorry, I did one last week with Elliot Marshall. It's just my Fridays have been so fucking like weird over the last couple weeks. But like last night, I went to or supposed to go to a concert. I was downtown, and I had already started doing everything to go downtown, pre-drinking all that stuff before the weigh-ins were even over. So, should be back next week though. I will bring it back next week, and I'll probably bring on somebody from. I'll probably bring somebody from the industry, like within the Capra community. Let me know who you guys want, and I'll get them on the show. AJ1337 doing a wake and bake while locking my bets. Love it. You got a crazy parlay for me, man. I'll throw $5 on it. I got my Gabby Garcia parlay, but that's on my Patreon. I do have my totals parlay, which I'll throw very shortly here for you guys. I'm almost caught up with the live chat here. Bilal's being saying, I see Bilal winning that fight, especially if it's a 5-rounder. We'll see. Can he out grapple the technically better grappler? We shall see. Small World Lifters in the chat saying, I kind of feel like I trust Roberson to turn up more with his job on the line. Even though they are middleweights, he has fought better competition. It just depends on what kind of it's his fight IQ that I just can't completely trust, which is why I didn't pull the trigger. He is the guy, like the last guy on my list of leans that I was about to pull the trigger on, but I just ultimately can't do it. Hindustani Bao saying Dos Anjos has a prosthetic forehead. His forehead is not real. I agree. MPTV saying all Fiziev has is a Del bun and a spinning back kick. We shall see. I think he's more than that. Fiziev via second round head kick. Ooh. Billy Briz in the chat. Been a minute in here since I've seen his ass in here. Thought Oliveira not want to fight in Abu Dhabi. Underground champ doesn't want Islam. You see the money Conor fight in Brazil happening. Man, it would be really shitty if Conor squeezes himself into a title shot here. It really does. I don't want to see it. Just give us Oliveira, Islam, done. And Oliveira should have the choice of saying, I don't want to fight in Abu Dhabi. The guy's, he's the champion. I don't care what people say about him losing his title or whatever to the weight miss and all that, but he's a champion. JC saying, do you like Durant to the Raptors? You know what? We need to take advantage of those situations where guys of that talent are willing to come to Toronto, right? We got lucky with Kawhi. We got our title. Let's just fucking take a flyer on Durant. Who knows? Maybe it works out. Alex Ramirez in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by. Billy Briz saying wager tax accepts all online payments. Doesn't matter the state. There you guys go. SK saying you think Carl Robertson actually wins it. He could, man. If he grapples, he is technically the better striker. So if he just leg kicks his way to victory, that's absolutely possible. I'm just not trusting him, man. His only qualm is his fight IQ. Patty the Fatty saying, other than the females, what's your favorite fight to go to decision? Good question there. Sherman Vandera. Dos Anjos Fiziev, and maybe Zahabi Tercios. I don't feel too hot about a lot of this card, guys. I really like. Again, there are spots that I took shots on. I have like 9 bets, but I mean, like, there's nothing where I feel like put your life savings on it. Make it crazy. There's obviously the lock and I played that I have the on the Nurmagomedov fight, the under 2.5 there, but like I made it 4 units. I didn't go the full 5 units there. I feel pretty good about it, but I again still not going the full 5 units on that. Corey Upel is saying Runders is not UFC level. I also like Zahabi here. I don't mind that. Zach Polito is saying 89 people in here. Y'all better be joining the Lock Night or Dog Night contest if you haven't already. Another great plug from possibly another guy that's in the challenge. If you aren't signed up yet or want to sign up, hit me up in the lock or sorry, the DMs on Twitter at MMALOT and I'll get you signed up. Needs to be before the fights kick off today, though. Stockholder, I'm going to give you one more warning. I'm not bothering with those. I'm not. I'm not. JB Bet sings Zahabi looks like a smarter fighter than Ricky last opponent. He does. It all comes down to whether he actually pulls the fucking trigger or not. MPTV saying Brunage Gore should go to the decision. I think Gore knocks him out. C Blue saying RDA looked pretty ripped on the scales, ready for a 5-round war. He always looks ripped. Whereas Fiziev looks strong, but looked like he might gas after 2 or 3 rounds. I'm leaning RDA by UD, but not sure if I should bet. It's good odds that you're getting on him by decision, but I don't know. I don't take too much from weigh-ins unless it's like screaming out at me. Time is not aligned, saying I have only 2 legs left to cash an 11-leg multi-event. Aspinall over Blades and gone over to Uvasa. How do you feel about Aspinall's chances? I keep down the guy. The guy keeps fucking me up. I think he can knock out Blades. I do, but I'm not betting on it. I got caught too many times making the switch on a fighter that's been finish prone, and then I get fucked. Joel Alvarez being one of the more recent ones. So yeah, I'm not going to touch that fight, but I think Aspinall has the chances to go out there and knock him out. MPTV saying that dude that looked like Vin Diesel was cool. He had the lawnmowers on the background. He was cool. Elliot Marshall. Love that guy. Love that guy. Ganu saying lock of the night. I'm going Saeed Nurmagomedov and Douglas Silva Deondrage under 2.5. MPTV saying Islam versus Volk. Let's let Islam get the champ first. Lock parlays tonight. This toughest card to predict. I will drop the over under parlay for you guys in a second here. Rips and picks saying fight goes to decision in Bra. You and Armin is plus 140. Might have to jump on this. I think Armin finishes him as well. Alex Ramirez saying Fiziev by decision. Lock of the night. I think he wins. I think he wins by decision as well. I'm not sure if it's a lock of the night play though. Onama KO with there at minus 110. I feel like they will both bring the heat. I think he needs a knockout to look minus 800, so that's not a bad line in my opinion. Although I do see the fight going over 1.5. Luke Fulton saying Fiziev by decision is the worst bet for that fight in my opinion. I disagree. RDA been quite durable recently. Fiziev only really knocked out. I guess he did knock out Moicano, and he finished Riddell as well. But I think RDA could be durable enough. MPTV saying I was talking smack earlier about Fizzy gassing, but after going back and watching his fights, he paces himself well. The Bobby Green fight was an outlier. It's an outlier because Bobby Green was being way more active. If RDA can match that activity or at least put on a constant pressure, maybe he could start to slow down Fiziev as well. But yeah, like all the other guys that he's facing, gone 3 rounds with, they didn't have nearly as much output as Bobby Green. Ben Peak in the chat. Long time no see, my friend. Hope all is well. All the best on the bets tonight. Do you like Yair as a dog in the next couple weeks? Peace and love. Yes, I do like Yair for next week's fights. Luke Fulton saying early round KO props on Fiziev. Possible. I do think that RDA will survive early, though. Gore, one of your more confident plays. I have 2.5 units on him, so I do feel quite good in him. I got around minus 130, though. He's up at minus 150, so the price is not getting any better. Luke Fulton saying, just being honest, save your money. Yeah, we shall see. Again, I don't have any money on it myself, but I don't think Fiziev by decision is as crazy as Luke is making it sound. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, though. I do truly appreciate it. Andrew Marchenko saying, I'm desperately trying to get different on DK with only 12 fights, and the lowest owned fighters are Armstead and Nunes. I feel like Nunes can legit win here and even make Cynthia quit. I don't know if she'll be able to finish her. I really don't. Alex Ramirez, yes, remind you guys, hit that like button if you haven't already. We got over 100 of you guys in here. Appreciate the love. Carl Roberson by decision. Odds are plus 700. Leg kicks to a decision if his Nzechukwu goes Homer Simpson mode. But I don't mind that. Roberson by a decision or a sub is not that bad. Mahler saying I just smashed the button. Good looks. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Dan Koster saying stop block look into UFC Long Island yet. I have not looked into it yet. Though I do like Yair Rodriguez in the main event as an underdog. RDA money line, good value, fellas. I agree. Shevchenko recording Casey. I'm going to go Shevchenko. I just don't like the price on her. Chris Greaves saying a live bet on RDA would be a better play if you're picking that side. Fiziev is probably going to take the first and second, in my opinion. More value that way. I agree. Going into round 3 is probably when you pull the trigger on RDA. Although I've said it before, if you like an underdog pre-fight, put some money on him pre-fight in case he does end up winning the first 2 rounds or something like that. We've seen it happen before. So if you do really like RDA, get a little bit of action down and then add a little bit more going into the 3rd round. Alex Reber is saying, how will Carl Roberson ever recover from his last beatdown? By possibly beating down a guy that only relies on his physical traits, which is Kennedy and Nzechukwu. So we shall see. Andrew Marchenko would be Nunes' first win at 125 if she does win. I doubt it. And again, Calvillo's, she's okay. She's not a world beater. Casey by armbar. Antonina is really a fish out of water on the ground. It's possible. It is possible. I'm hoping that fight goes all 15 minutes, though. Bohalio inside the distance. I don't think so. I think Petrosian takes that one. Gore and Nurmagomedov, a good two-team parlay. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I have Gore straight up, and then I have the under in the Nurmagomedov fight. JP saying 3-leg parlay. Gore, Nurmagomedov, and fucking again, weird card. Weird fucking card. Maybe the fight goes to decision on one of the women's fights. Fletcher Cox saying you think Petrosian gonna win? I do. Uh I do mixed with his odds, right? He's nearing plus 200 at this time. I think people are writing him off too quickly. Like, yes, Cow deserves to be the favorite, but I think he has the chops to give Cow some issues. Like, yeah, Cow, I think, has been a little bit overrated to a certain point. Minus 150, I get it. Minus 150 on Cow makes sense. Minus 250, you guys are getting a little crazy. All right, let me drop this totals parlays for you guys since we're coming up on the 40-minute mark here. That I'm going to get out of here because I got a lot of work to do to prepare for the Lock of the Night challenge and the Dog of the Night challenge, all kicking off today. Once again, if you are interested in those games, slide in my DMs on Twitter and I'll get you guys set up. We got a lot of good numbers and the prize spot's going to be nice and juicy for you guys. So you guys go check it out. All right, totals parlay. We got a 6-legger for you guys here. This one's a little bit more, risky-ish, so don't put anything too crazy on it. But let's see how it goes. Under 2.5 for the Nurmagomedov and Anjos fight. Under 2.5 for Johnson versus Malarkey. Over 2.5 for Nunes versus Calvillo. Over 2.5 for Casey versus Shevchenko. Over 1.5 for Onama and Armfield. Under 2.5 for Gore and Brundage. I'll do that for you guys one more time. Under 2.5 for Nurmagomedov and Andrade. Under 2.5 for Johnson and Malarkey. Over 2.5 for Nunes versus Calvillo. Over 2.5 for Casey versus Shevchenko. Over 1.5 for Armfield Onama. Under 2.5 for Gore versus Brundage. There you guys go. Jimmy the Drunk saying a lot of fighter remove tweets coming out for this card. I absolutely agree. All right. Appreciate you guys. Time for me to get to work. Throw some water in my face, wake my ass up for yesterday's debacle once again. Hopefully make some money tonight so that we can bring it on over to UFC Long Island next week. Can't fucking wait. All right. Love you guys. Appreciate it. Good luck tonight.